there's one aspect that they say, a new spirit I will put in you. You ever heard that? It's in the Bible. People say about the new soul. What about the new souls? A new spirit I will put in you. This is a process that will happen, and it's probably either taking place in some of you or will take place in some of you. It's taking place in me. So I'm going to give you a particular concept of what's going on. Now let's get into some high science and a metaphysical level. We've got a whole lot of stuff to cover. Y'all all right? Yeah. Okay now. In this book, The Kundalini Energy of Depths, this is the one you want by Lillian Silburn. Lillian, S-I-L-B-U-R-N, Lillian Silburn. The Kundalini, the Energy of Depths. Now, according to this particular book, when the Kundalini rises, the first thing starts to happen when you become into consciousness. So you have a soul. Your soul is asleep in the bottom of the gastrointestinal tract, in the shit sack. But it starts to rise. You know. You know. It starts to rise up to, now, remember I talked about before, I said, you know, that you can't go out here and you can't give these people this particular information because the simple fact if your heart chakra is not radiating at a certain pace, you're not going to get it nowhere. Because that means that your consciousness is down in your root chakra. And it can't contemplate only the physical things or the apparent things. So it will not contemplate things that have anything to do with that stuff that is on the spiritual aspect. Not unless it's dealt with religion, which is dancing and singing with a motherfucking tambourine. What the fuck is a goddamn tambourine got to do with God? They got a woman down in Atlanta got a Jesus mobile. You gotta see this shit. She ride around blasting gospel music, and somehow this motherfucker band be driving the tambourine. She be doing the tambourine thing. She be driving. You see this shit here? A motherfucking damn 72 grand free. Put that tax up. That shit got to do with God. But mental illness. Call it what you want to. Anyway, the energy inside of the Kundalini energy inside of you. According to this text, they talk about a new spirit I will put inside of you. So when it rises up, it is on a higher level. So the reason why you are here is because you were born with the heart chakra open to a certain degree. That's why I said you always thought that you were something different, or you thought that you were something special. You see what I'm saying? So now, you have to have the heart chakra open. That's one reason why I was telling also the man to get into the romance thing, because it enhanced that shit. You see what I'm saying? It enhanced that shit when you get into the romance thing and all, you know what I'm saying? You know, a couple of years ago, I was up in love, and I took that shit to the nut. I said, I'm going to work with this shit here. I'm going to do different than the other men. So I said, I'm going to take this shit here, I'm going to push. I said, I'm going to play this motherfucker out. So I said, no, I'm not going to do like most men try to fight this shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, I was in love about 10, 15 years ago and just talk shit. That motherfucker ain't shit. You know, because see what's happening is that these emotions and all this stuff is going on and you fighting against it. So you be, you know, trying to think of all this stuff and why you still cool. Oh, I'm still cool, you know. And the other brothers, they know when you listen, they say, man, you in love, man. Then they go, they say, man, ain't nothing wrong with being in love. And then they went through this damn shit. You see what I'm saying? So I said, no, I'm going to play this shit out to the hill. I said, I'm going to play. I said, because the energy that I was dealing with at the time, I liked what I was feeling, because she said, I don't want a spiritual level now. And then I realized, oh, now this is some metaphysical stuff. See, what's happening here is when you're in love, what's happening here is your heart chakra start to open, and all types of biological changes start happening in your body. That's why you are actually, it's a form of insanity. Seriously, what it is this is a metaphysical awakening. And if you ever knew, all you got to do is when you fall out of love or when the karma burns up, we'll get into that particular sign, and you be looking, you say, what the fuck was I thinking? I must have was crazy as hell. The women know what I'm talking about. You know, because it's a form of insanity. That's why they call it love madness. The Greeks, which was the ancient Etruscans, there's a book called Eros, something the role of Greek sexuality. I get the name, I put it on enough. But anyway, in this book they were saying that the ancients, when they said when you fell in love, they said you have my condolences. Because they know that you are going, the stuff is opened up, and what's happening when the heart chakra opens up, you start secreting these particular hormones, and all of these alchemical components start happening, and stuff like that. And you just be crazy. So it's a form of insanity. So I used to sit on the phone and with the sister be like, you know, you quite mad, you know. She said, you quite mad. But it was on a whole nother. I said, I'm going to play this motherfucker out to see what happens. I said, I'm going to go a different route here. I'm going to play this shit out. So I said, no, I'm going to go into this romantic shit like on that Hollywood shit. You know. I said, I'm going to play this shit out. I said, what else I got to do? I said, because this shit hit right after damn near 10 or 11 years of being on this spiritual path. I said, oh, this is a damn dimension I done fell into. I said, I like this motherfucker, so I start playing this shit out. You know, so the first thing I say here is, the first thing you got to do here is, you have to surrender yourself to it. So what happened here is, the first thing started happening is the other party start doing shit that gets you pissed off. You used to do some fucked up shit, you be like, damn it. Because, you know, she doing some stuff, you ain't agreeing to it, but you all fucked up and stuff, so you all mad with her. And then you stay the whole day just mad. That motherfucker ain't about nothing. So what happened was, it's about 9 o'clock every night I go in and I surrender to the shit. But anyway, look, I was now what I would do here is I would go, okay, now look at this thing here. I said, what am I trying to learn? I've been mad all day with this motherfucker right here. Mad at her black ass all day. Then I surrender. I said, no, fuck that. I love her anyway, so I surrender. I surrender to it. And then I realized what I was surrendering to. The physical her, it wasn't even about the physical her. It was about the spiritual aspect, but guess what? The love that I was surrendering to ain't had nothing to do with her. See, what the real mystery of love is, what comes in contact is the person brings the initial spark and the catalyst. And both, what's happening is these two energies, they come and they meet. And the heart chakra opens. Once the initial contact is made, because both of you fall in love, and the initial contact is made, guess what? The shit that you feeling ain't got nothing, it's not even a person at all. It's your own heart chakra, and it's the love within you, it's your soul. So when you think you're falling in love, actuality, your soul wakes up for a few minutes. Our soul is called the sleeping Buddha. So, if you've ever been in love before, you know, most guys won't admit the shit. But you the one that got that goddamn wedding that your ass had to pay for, all kind of shit here and all, you know, and stuff like that. No, you won't admit it, but what the fuck made you go insane enough that you paying money right now when it was cheaper to keep our ass? Right? You wasn't in love. You won't admit the shit. But when you fall in love, the great mystery here is, when you fall in love, the great mystery here is, it has nothing to do with the other person other than the initial contact. It is your soul that wakes up a few minutes, and that's what the love is. It's your own soul, and you thinking it's the other person. I can't do it without you and shit. It ain't got nothing to do with the other person. It's you. And that's what you were feeling. Why do you think you feel it so much? It's your own soul. And that is what you see the Christ, and you see when you see the Christ holding the heart. You ever see the picture of Jesus holding the damn heart? Guess what? The heart that he's holding is the representation of the soul, and that's what the Christ is. They say Christ is love. It's a metaphysical thing. You see what I'm saying? So when you thinking you in love with the other person, you all the range I can't live without you, I'm gonna blow my brains out and all kind of shit like that. You know, it's your own soul. Now this is the great mystery. When you don't learn that it's the own soul, then what happens here is you don't go to the other level. Then what happens is the karma burns up, which means the soul becomes used to the stage it is on, and it either goes to another level or it goes back dormant. When it goes to so you can either ride it for what it's worth and learn how to cultivate lady that when you find out it's your own soul, there's a book called Love is a Fire, because it's a fire. It's the Kundalini energy. It's called Love is a Fire by Llewellyn Vaughan Lee. A must-have book. Love is a Fire. Then there's Llewellyn Vaughan Lee. Then there's a badass book called The Science of Love by Dr. John Baines. You gotta have that one, because that one tells you of the shit on the earth, or what you're dealing with physically with the range people and all kind of shit that's going on in relationships. It's called The Science of Love by Dr. John Baines. You gotta have that, and that's a blueprint. You got to have that and stuff. Then you'll see the motherfucker you've been dealing with all the years and shit, and why things are the way they are, and why you had to put up with the mental retarded type shit that's been going on in your house.
Dr. Baines, you said?
Dr. John Baines. You see, Dr. John Baines. The Science of Love.
Who was the other one? Love is a Fire?
Love is a Fire by Llewellyn Vaughan Lee. So now in that book, they say when you dealing with it and you finding out that it's not the person was only the catalyst. It's your soul. So you say, I ain't been in love with this person. No, the person was just a catalyst. You just haven't cultivated your shit. So you ain't falling. You can still tap back into it because it's in your soul. You just got to wake it back up. So this is the key. When it starts to happen and you find out it's you, when I was saying surrender, I was only surrendering to my own soul. So it's called Love and Annihilation. So there's a chapter in the book, Love is a Fire. When it starts to happen, you let it annihilate you. You say, I'm gonna ride this shit. So what you do is you just surrender to it and let it annihilate your ass. And then you go to the next level. So what happened was I let the shit annihilate me, and the heart chakra opened, and I went to the next level. Because I kept the shit open, and I enjoyed what I was into. You know what I'm saying? So you have to go in, you have to do the romance, you got to play a whole lot of damn, you know, you play the love songs. I'm quite sure the sisters already know about this shit. You play the love songs, you place yourself in the shits. This is some training for brothers, because that's with the heart chakra thing. The sisters don't have a problem with that. You see what I'm saying and all. You see, just that you've been hurt and you didn't understand. You've been hurt because you didn't realize it was your own soul. It was shit you was in love with, not that old naughty head nigga. That person can only be a catalyst for so long. Then that fire burns up. It's your own soul. That's the mysteries of love. But anyway, it likes the romantic thing. So I was playing the romantic music, and I was playing the and I was dealing with the romantic movies and shit. And anything romantic, I was down with that shit. You see, I was down with that stuff. And so as a result, I cultivated the heart chakra. So what happens is here. There's this heartbeat. It's an irregular heartbeat. So what happens is this. Now, let me get to the metaphysical aspect. Once the heart chakra opens, it has an irregular heartbeat. You have a heartbeat. Your soul, see, you have a spirit and you have a soul. Now, know the difference. Oprah came on celebrating the spirit. That's what a white man tells her to do. Celebrating the spirit. He said nothing about celebrating soul. Because not every motherfucker down here got soul. That's what the Egyptians tell you. Not everybody got a soul. But a dog has a spirit. A rat has a spirit. A skunk has a spirit. Everything down here has a spirit. That's an animal. That's what runs the physical earth. That's what makes everything move on the plane of the physical. A roach has a spirit. See what I'm saying? But not everything has a soul. A soul is an original sun that was here in the beginning. Those are the sons of God, are the 144,000, which is actually suns. Dr. Deborah Blair talks about the 144 suns. Those are the original suns are stars. You get star. A star is a what? A sun. A sun, solar, soul, S-U-N of God, S-O-N of God. It's the same thing. It's still talking about the missions of the soul. But not everybody has a soul. They have spirit. Everything down here has a spirit. So when you open something, we're celebrating the spirit, the human spirit. That ain't shit. The human spirit is the same as the goddamn rat spirit. You cut me and I bleed, and you cut me and you white. You said you kept me and I believe, and I kept you and you believe. You tell a rat, and that motherfucker believes it. You know, the preacher, how I know he's God because he woke me up this morning. But goddamn dog woke up this morning. That don't mean shit. The problem is, why the fuck did you wake me up this goddamn morning? To be or not to be? That's the motherfucking question. You woke me up this morning, you woke the goddamn rat up this morning too, and you woke a stove up this morning too, and the roast too woke up. That don't mean shit. To be a what, a slave? To pay this motherfucker so he can get rich, the preacher? You know what I'm saying? So that don't mean that. Everything has a spirit down here, but not everything has a soul. Now, when the soul wakes up, so you have a spirit that runs, and the heartbeat that you have is a spirit that's beating inside. And that's the spirit of the earth creating life. And that's the beat of life. That's life. But the soul is dead or asleep down in the lower intestinal tract. And when it starts to rise up, it too has a heartbeat. So when that heartbeat starts to happen and you go to sleep and you have another heartbeat that's beating faster, that means you got two heartbeats. Now stick with me. So what happens here is as the heart chakra opens up. Now one other way to get the heart chakra to open up is also is several ways. Number one, if you can somehow devalue life itself, which means you have a detestation for all that exists. Now this is a spiritual aspect. What it means is, you know, the things that you worry about, if they're only an illusion, they are things, a series of events that never existed. So who gives a shit? You know what I'm saying? Like I told her, who gave a shit if I didn't make up my bed? Like the sister, just like, you know, excuse the house, I'm like, I ain't made up my fucking bed in a goddamn year. And I did that on purpose. You see what I'm saying? Why? Oh, you know, who are you? Know what I'm trying to say? I'm working out of those things that you think is so important. You have to reverse things. Remember, full house, empty mind. Empty house, full mind. You see what I'm saying? We was more creative when we didn't have shit as black people because, goddamn it, we didn't have a whole lot of bullshit to distract us. So we had to create our damn self.
That's right, that's right.
Make our own self laugh.
Yep.
See what I'm saying? So who's on the higher level? The nigga around the liquor store or you with all your gadgets? Nigga around the liquor store is on the highest level. Oh, but he gonna drink himself to death. Well, death is the crown of life. I mean, he ain't got a shit, piss, eat, or pay the cracker some taxes. It's just the way you look at things. Now, dealing with this particular science, the heartbeat, so you devalue things in the actuality. You say, well, how can you devalue things? In your mind, you be like, who gives a fuck? You know what I'm saying? So they cut my goddamn phone off. You know what I'm saying? I use the drums. No, it's not like, you know, your mama used to say, you know, Mama, ain't that the Kool-Aid going or the soda going? She go, drink water. You ever heard that shit, drink water? Yep. You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff. You know, it's interesting how they get, when shit run out, you know, shit run out in the house and all of a sudden they get practical on your ass. You know what I'm saying? The TV broke up. Listen to the radio. You know what I'm saying? Radio broke. Well, sing, nigga, you know, do some shit like that. You know, that kind of thing. So what you're doing is you're psychologically being in the world but not of the world. So you don't necessarily have to go and get you a robe and some sandals and some shit and walk out there with a cane and walk around and eat out the trash can and say yourself spiritual. It's not about that. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, don't cut off my goddamn electricity. Shit, I don't go on to custom some damn electricity. You know, I'll pay you your $65 or $200 or whatever for that elective. Them electives, like my grandma used to say. Let me cutting off my electives. But I will pay you for the electives when it ain't about, it's a psychological thing. You don't have to You don't have to go out here and somehow psychologically deny yourself or whatever, because it's hard on the physical realm. But what we're talking about here is a form of, it's in your mind. You psychologically do these things when they say be in the world, but not of the world. You see what I'm saying? And so therefore, you open, what you do is you stop this world to give your soul time enough to wake up. Your soul is not waking up because you're so immersed in this shit. You see what I'm saying? You're so immersed in this shit here. You know what I'm saying? And another thing also too, which is the number one destroyer, the number one thing that retards you from going to a higher level, and that is family members.
Okay.
Family members. Your family members are not on board and not and standing in the way based on some fucked up shit. You're supposed to cut them niggas loose.
Right.
You gotta cut them loose. You get all emotion and you will stop what you're doing. That's why you gotta, and it could be your mama, it could be your children. It'll come with anything that's close to you, but that's when the motherfuckers you gotta cut loose. It's the bullshit family members and stuff. That's a spirit thing that's stopping you from going to another level.